Hi, this is Penny Halverson again, and I'm back for a little more review of a few more unique games that are kind of ones you don't see around a lot, and some of them are kind of new, some of them are old. We're just going to kind of go over some of these and review some of these fun ones we found that are fun anyway. Here at Guff Stuff, and we're going to begin to review. This is the newest one I've got. It's called Forbidden Island, and this is a collaborative game, and all the people on the play together to get off this island before it sinks is the whole gist of the game. And we have all these island tiles that we set up as to start with. We set them up as our game board, and then we go from there to whether we can get off the island before it floods or not. And as a team, we have to get off this island and go to the landing place with the helicopter to get off the... Anyway, this is the way the board is set up to start with. So anyway, this is the way the board is set up to start with. And we have cards that we use, and we have artifacts that we have to collect to get off the island. We're trying to collect all these cool artifacts to get off this island. And we are also playing against the board, because while we're playing, the board is going to sink. And we're on a sinking island, and we need to get off there fast. We have cards for different things. And then we each have special... Whichever game pieces you're playing with have special powers that they use. Say it's the yellow would have a special power of they can move another player up to do different tiles. The green can move more diagonal. All the others have to go straight across or straight up and down. The swimmer can go from empty tile spaces where the other ones can't. They have to have a tile to go on. The engineer can turn 2 tiles over. So at the beginning of the game, we all get one of these special cards to start with. It's up to 4 people only can play right at this moment. I would guess there'll be an expansion eventually, probably, maybe, I don't know. But right now only 4 can play, and you divide up the special power cards, and not all of them are in play. And then you choose your piece, and that whatever color your piece is where you start. And then you draw 6 cards that are the tile cards for the island, and you turn them over because they're sinking. This island is sinking. It's not just sitting here, it's sinking. And then you go through here and you turn all these over, the first 6, because that's where your starting point is. You have 6 sinking tiles. Okay, say those are the 6 that are turned over. At this point in time, those cards are out of play. We'll just say they're been picked and they're over there. And then you decide on your turn, you decide to move whether you're going to get to a tile that you can turn over. If you're right next to one, you can take a turn to turn a tile over, and you can do up to 3 actions per turn, and then you can move. So that would be 1 action. I turned a tile over, that's 1 action. And as you notice, there's little icons on this. That means to gather your artifacts, you have to be on one of these tiles that has a matching icon to be able to collect your artifact. So you don't want these to sink before you get a chance to collect your artifact. Otherwise, you lose the game. If one loses, everybody loses. You don't get off one person and one not. Everybody either loses or everybody wins. That's the way this game is. We have 1 tile that's called Fool's Landing. And that is where you have to all end up with. Every person playing has to end up here, and they have to have a special card called a helicopter lift to get off the island. Right there's the helicopter lift. And somebody, and they're drawing your cards, you have to save one of those for the end of the game, because if you don't have it, you all drown. So that's the way that goes. And throughout the game, you're collecting cards. Each person can collect, you have to collect 4 artifacts cards that match to get your artifact. And you have to get to the matching space where that artifact is. Like this one has the artifact of the rock, and this one has the icon. And you have to get to that and have 4 cards to trade it in to collect that artifact. And once you collect that artifact, that's off the board, and but you have to collect all 4. Between all the players have to get to a place where they can get all 4. And during the time you're drawing cards now, you'll be each having hands of 5, and you're drawing cards, and you might get artifacts, and you can trade them amongst each other for an action of your turn. And then while you're drawing, eventually you'll get one called Water Rises. And when you get a Water Rises, you have to draw a water card. First of all, you have to turn over all your top cards that have been played. So we've got some that haven't been turned over, and you can only turn it once. And if you don't get it flipped back over, you end up drowning if you have to take it off the thing and you're there. But the Water Rises cards you draw, and then the person playing has to draw 3 more cards. Or 2, wherever you're at on your water board, because you can go from 2 to 5, and then the skull, if you get way up here, guess what? You're going to drown. Every time you get a Rise card, you have to move your icon, and move your icon, and move your icon, and this time you have to draw 3, so then you're drawing 3 of these tiles. So as you go on, you're drawing more and more tiles, and more of these are going to start disappearing like this. Because once they're flipped and they go, they're gone. You can't get them back. And that's why you got to protect Fool's Landing at all costs, because if you can't get there, you're drowning. And you want to protect your icon cards until you collect your artifact for them. Throughout the game, like I said, you play collaborative. You can talk and say what would be our best strategy. And there is a strategy to getting in and off the island. It's a lot of fun. It gets to be a lot of thinking of which ones you want to, what actions you want to do. And also to trade cards, you have to be on the same squares as the other people are. Like if I had a artifact card I wanted to trade to him so he could get all 4, I would have to be on the same square with him. And then I could give him one of those cards. And at the same time, your hand is being built as you go. And you can't have more than 5 cards in your hand at a time, so you might have to throw away some of those fancy ones. You've got a sandbag card, which helps you to shore up. Say, it's called shoring up too, when you have one that's turned over for flooding, and you turn it back up. It's called shore up. But a sandbag card can shore up any time you see something. Say Fool's Landing is upside down because you've drawn that card, and you say, I'm going to use my sandbag card to shore that up, so that is safe. But every time you get a Water Rises, you got to put all those cards that you had just placed upside down or whatever, they go back on the top of the deck. You don't mix them with the rest of them. You got to put them right on top of the deck. So you keep drawing the same ones over and over and over, and that's where you end up having a little bit of an issue if Fool's Landing happens to be one of those first cards that are turned up, because that gets to be hard to keep where it's at. So anyway, that's the gist of this game. It's a lot of fun. You can have, like I said, it's a cooperative game. Everybody plays together, and you have to get off the island. Bye.